Hello everybody, and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Skip Allen and the blog of Skip Allen Paints. Okay, so this is the third video in a series of videos about my new thick paint brushes. We're going to go to the next brush, which is called Thin Dry Grainy Bristle. Now this is the first of the dry type brushes. I'm going to remove everything on that layer, and we'll just start painting with this brush. Now you'll see that it gives you lots of texture, and you have to really paint on it to get it to fill. And it's not going to fill completely. It is a very thin, very dry brush. So it's going to repeat what the paper does. Now we've been looking at these papers that, or the one paper that is the dirty canvas. And so let's just for funsies go to another canvas. Let's go to, I'll tell you what, we'll go to this one called Seeded. And we'll just start painting on Seeded. And see, you've got a totally different look, and some places you may be able to paint a lot, and others you may not, other areas you may not get anything. Now, how does this brush bleed? Well, if you look, my bleed is up at 90%. So if I come in with another color, it's going to blend quickly. It would be hard to really get a lot of that color in the paint, although it will, put some in there because it is a dry brush, so it covers it a little bit. But these are, fairly blendy brushes. Like that. Okay? So let's go to the next one, which is medium wet paint bristle. Now this is exactly what it sounds like. Now we're at 85% on the bleed, so we're still going to bleed. But this brush is going to be thicker. See, more paint, a lot more paint, because I've called it medium wet paint. Now, wet medium paint with no grain in the name means it's not going to give you a lot of grain, okay? But what's nice about this brush is it's going to blend like that. You're still going to see the first stroke's going to give you a lot of the main color that you have, but as you continue to paint with it, you're going to get that it's like you see in the stroke some of the green, some of the beige from the original color. Like that. And this is, I've been looking at Sargent paintings lately, and his brush strokes would be sort of like this. You would get these bristly strokes where the paint would kind of mix but not quite mix. It's real interesting. Now I will tell you that darker colors don't go in quite as dark. See how that really, if I want it to be really dark, I've got to come out and get some dark that I can pull in, because on top it doesn't do very well. However, white, the lighter colors, will cover a little bit. Well, it doesn't there, but I thought it covered a little bit more, so I guess I'm wrong. Anyway, you'll see how you begin to work with this. It's very wet, so it's going to blend and smear into itself, and it's a stiff brush, so you're going to get a lot of bristle looks to it. The next one is thick, stiff, grainy bristle. Okay, so now we're like the grainy bristle that we had before, but it's thick and with a stiff brush. Okay, so we'll go to the next brush, which is called Thick, Stiff, Grainy Bristle. So we're using the grainy bristle that we've had before, but this time it's thick and the brush is stiff. Can't say it's stiff. So we'll grab another color and we'll begin to come in, and you'll see it's much thicker than the other one and very, very grainy. So we're going from a very thin, grainy brush. This one happens to be flat. See there? To a very thick, grainy brush. Now, what about the grain? Is it showing the grain? It is. You've got to get, probably a different flow map or work on this, not flow map, paper. So let's go to, no, that's not the one I want. Let's go to this one here, which is called crystals. I'm going to make them big. I'm going to make them very contrasty, very white and black. And then when I paint with this brush, let's clear this off. See the texture now that you get? All right, that's really the way this brush is going to work. The way I would probably use this brush is as an accent. So I would have a color down that was solid, and I might come up and add a new layer and come over the new layer with an accent. But before I go to the new layer, if I paint with this brush with a very light stroke, see how it knocks down the thick paint? It makes it kind of bristly, but I'm beginning to get a different sort of look from that. So most of these brushes will do that. They will kind of let you paint thick or thin with them, depending on pressure. Okay, now if I were to add another thick paint layer to this, and let's just go to this light blue. See, then I could make something over the top of that previous brush stroke, which would give me these really nice textured kind of looks. Okay, let's close that. And the last one here, well, no, I'm going to keep going. All right, so this is thick, stiff, flat bristle. So it's the same thing as the thick, stiff, bristly brush, but now it's flat. So it will allow me to paint as if I'm painting with a flat brush. Okay? And that really is helpful, because there are a lot of times when you want to knock in color into a corner. You don't want to use the big round brush, and you don't want to make it small. So flat brushes are pretty useful. And then we come here. This is dry, thick, grainy bristle. And so it's the same thing as this one before up here, except now it's a dry brush. And it's going to be even more textured looking than the other thick, stiff, grainy bristle. This one is dry, thick, grainy bristle. And so it is going to be more grainy, but it will blend if it's over paint that's on the canvas. So see, it'll blend, but you'll get a kind of an expressive brush as well. These look great in landscapes, by the way, with this kind of loose look to it. And let's see. Gosh, we've got this is thick, stiff, grainy bristle, dry, thick, grainy bristle. I'm trying to see where I was. Dry grain. Okay, that's the last one. We can stop this video now and we'll come back and we'll start using the palette knives. Okay? Sorry this took a little longer than I anticipated. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.